I fell in love with a woman while I was in, I think it was my junior year in college. And she was an artist. And Harper and Row Publishing Company asked to see her portfolio of her work. So she did a quick compilation of everything, and her boyfriend was out of town, so she came over to my house and she said, what do you think of this order? And I kind of said, well, maybe if you put this over here, that over there, and the flow seems to. And it went on late into the evening, to the point where she was looking at me and I was looking at her, and there was this thing between us that was pretty charged. And I didn't really want to get into that, you know. So I suggested, let's go for a walk. We go for this walk at 2 o'clock in the morning in Gainesville, Florida. And it's raining, it's dark, you know, and kind of misty, and we're walking through street after street, civilization really, but lots of foliage, and all of a sudden, a Luna moth flies and lands on my foot. And I'm sitting there looking at it. First of all, having something land at 2 o'clock in the morning on your foot, a big phosphorescent, long-tailed moth, it was weird enough. And it's just going like this. And I said, well, it must be dying. And I reached down and I picked it up and I held it like this, and it didn't fly away. I said, we need a coffee can or something, otherwise I'll ruin it just carrying it. And I looked around. Of course, you gotta understand, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and this is back in the days when television didn't go all night long. But I saw a TV on in somebody's house, you know, with the flickering of the. So I went up to this house in the middle of the night and knocked on the door. And this guy who had fallen asleep in front of the TV, it was a blank screen, I could see the snow, I guess. And he's looking at me, and I'm with this girl. He looked at me, and I babbled incoherently, well, I found this Luna moth, and do you have a coffee can or something to give it to me? And he said, you know. And then his wife comes out, is everything okay, George? And he goes, don't worry, they're just doing them pills again, Martha. That's what he said. I remember that.
1969.
Right. And but I was pre-med, and so I had short hair, and she was typical looking. So he comes out with this coffee can, and I put the Luna moth in it, and we take it home, and we're at my place, and along the way, mind you, I told you it was raining. I used to wear hush puppies all the time, and they got all soaking wet. So I had a little gas heater in my 2-room army hut that I lived in. And I took the shoes and put them on top of the heater. And we were wrapping up our conversation. I guess it's getting to be around 3:30, something like that. And I forgot about the shoes, and they all kind of crinched in and got dry, but they all like this. They didn't burn or anything, but and kind of we both were like, "Ooh, this is getting too much tension between us, you know, going in the wrong direction." So I said, well, you know, I think it's time for you to go. And so she leaves, and I go to bed. I didn't wake up until like 11 o'clock, but one of the things I always did every morning, I would go to the 7-Eleven store, which wasn't there a walk, and I opened my door, and I started to go outside, and I look on my front door, there's a picture of a Astor coffee can. And I looked, and there's a Luna moth on top of an Astor coffee can with a pair of shoes all crinkled up underneath it. And it said, "Hush, puppy, it's only a Luna landing in the magic of your soul." And it was very well done, a nice little artist drawing. And I went, wow, this is so cool. You know, so apparently I told my mother that story and everybody else I met. My mom at the time was trying to be a mother for the first time and was embroidering shirts for me. And she decided that the theme of the embroidery was going to be butterflies. So she embroidered a butterfly on the corner. They were all blue work shirts with a butterfly up here. Just one. This was my first one. And I made the mistake of writing her back and saying, "Mommy, this is the nicest thing you've ever done for me. This is wonderful. I love the shirt." Well, every Christmas and every birthday for the next 11 years, I got a blue work shirt, long sleeve, with a butterfly on it. Well, she also sent me a pair of pants with them on the cuffs, butterflies on the cuffs. So this butterfly thing became, went out of control then, because then once people saw that, they started giving me towels. Any gift I ever received started to have butterflies on it. And I had no affinity towards butterflies, or it had no meaning other than that one particular time. But all of a sudden there's stuff in my house that has butterflies on it, and people start to associate me with this.